Hi there. So, I wanted to say a few words about why I still use the term Aspergers when the official name of the diagnosis in the US for a while now has been high-functioning autism. Well, so first of all, just from a purely practical standpoint, I really like how when you search for Aspergers on Google or YouTube, you'll get a lot of results that are just spot on to what you're looking for. And that's good too if you tell somebody you have Asperger's and they go research it. Now with high functioning autism, you might get results in there that about autism in general, parents looking for help with autistic kids, and even some stuff about GMOs and vaccines and things that were never really associated with Asperger's. And then of course you have Autism Speaks, which is not low functioning Autism Speaks, it's just Autism Speaks in the sense of giving a voice to the nonverbal. When really, there has never been an Asperger's Speaks, because Asperger's speaks very well, and you have this weird situation now where a condition describes basically maybe somebody who's very articulate and eloquent and maybe highly successful in an academic career and integrated into society, and somebody who is non-verbal and needs help around the clock, and the only difference is high functioning versus low functioning. And I don't even like the term high functioning. If you call a neurotypical person high functioning, that's not a compliment. They'll probably be insulted because it has this connotation of robot, machine. I immediately hear that song playing in my head, another brick in the wall. As humans, we want to be so much more than functioning. So, in other words, this whole phrase, high functioning autism, especially to neurotypicals, is just loaded with subtext and emotions that are negative and probably not what you want, and that doesn't describe Asperger's well. And I know why they did it, because it is a spectrum, and even Asperger's, you have Susan Boyle, and you have Dan Aykroyd and Daryl Hannah. So where do you draw the line? Where does Asperger's stop and autism start? So I understand why they did it, but it still has the unfortunate result now that your official diagnosis is high functioning autism, and that phrase is pretty loaded in many ways now, just from the subtext that it has, both from the words themselves and in our society. And this is a video channel about dating with Asperger's, so I would not, if I had high functioning autism, I would not use that phrase when I tell somebody about me that I just met. I think it's too emotionally charged. Asperger's is much better, because a person will likely have, it's delightfully free of associations. It's just a name, a bit weird name, and the person will go and Google it maybe and find a lot of things, and search results where they can learn more about specifically what it's like to live with Asperger's. And that's good, because really, to us neurotypicals, words are just loaded with subtext, connotations, memories, thoughts, emotions, sometimes even sensory experiences that we recall. And a person with high functioning autism, ironically, probably doesn't have the same associations with words and those fuzzy word clouds full of feelings that enable a neurotypical person to, have small talk, because, give us 2-3 words and we riff of it, just with all the thoughts and feelings and stuff that comes to our mind just from words, and it's very visceral, it's very gut feeling. Whereas I think a lot of people with Asperger's, they hear a word and it's literally the word. So somebody might get a diagnosis of high functioning autism and feel like, yeah, that's the correct word, that's the diagnosis, that's what I'm going to tell people that I have, and not even realize maybe how that is received by a neurotypical, who will get this wave of subtext and emotions that then will color subsequent interactions with the other person. So I would definitely, maybe if you know a person well or have talked with them several times, if you then say you have high functioning autism, they have better context at, about what you're like, what challenges you might have and not have. So that's safer, but to lead with it is probably not a good idea. Just like I would not think it's necessary to say you have Asperger's right off the bat, but I'll get into that on some other video. And I think this rant has been long enough, and I will read your comments, and there's definitely a point to be made that maybe if more people came out and said they have high functioning autism, maybe the word autism would take on a different color, where people who only hear it occasionally will associate it more with all people on the spectrum and not Autism Speaks and non-verbal people, especially children. So there's a case to be made for both, but on this channel I'm going to continue to use the term Aspergers, and I'll wrap it up with that and look forward to talking with you again really soon.